Hello, everyone. Sue.oneschuk here again for the workbook lessons of A Course in Miracles. And today we are now beginning the first review in the lessons of A Course in Miracles. There will be many reviews that will be in the process of these 365 lessons. So in this review, it will be going over the first 50 lessons again. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read the introduction to the review as it gives the explanation as to how to proceed from here. So it says, beginning with today, we'll have a series of review periods. Each of them will cover 5 of the ideas already presented, starting with the first and ending with the 5th. There will be a few short comments after each of the ideas, which you should consider in your review. In the practice periods, the exercises should be done as follows. Begin the day by reading the 5 ideas with the comments included. Thereafter, it is not necessary to follow any particular order in considering them, though each one should be practiced at least once. Devote 2 minutes or more to each of the practice devote 2 minutes or more to each practice period, thinking about the idea and the related comments after reading them over. Do this as often as possible during the day. If any one of the 5 ideas appeals to you more than the others, concentrate on that one. At the end of the day, however, be sure to review all of them once more. It is not necessary to cover the comments that follow each idea either literally or thoroughly in the practice periods. Try, rather, to emphasize the central point and think about it as part of your review of the idea to which it relates. After you have read the idea and the related comments, the exercises should be done with your eyes closed and when you are alone in a quiet place, if possible. This is emphasized for practice periods at your stage of learning. It will be necessary, however, that you learn to require no special settings in which to apply that which you have learned. You will need your learning most in situations that appear to be upsetting, rather than in those that already seem to be the calm and quiet. The purpose of your learning is to enable you to bring the quiet with you and to heal distress and turmoil. This is not done by avoiding them and seeking a haven by solution for yourself. You will yet learn that peace is part of you already and requires only that you be there to embrace any situation in which you are. And finally, you will learn that there is no limit to where you are, so that your peace is everywhere as you are. You will note that for review purposes, some of the ideas are not given in quite their original form. Use them as they are given here. It is not necessary to return to the original statements, nor to apply the ideas as was suggested then. You are now emphasizing the relationships between the first 50 of the ideas you have covered and the cohesiveness of the thought system to which they are leading you. So that's the review. And as it says here, again, you do not have to go back over the original statements. And Jesus has written this or has this book written through Helen Schuckman. And there's, again, as I've mentioned or may not have mentioned in this series, but this whole these lessons are a process. And so now Jesus is presenting them in a little different context to bring you into a space of looking at these lessons again. There's many aspects and concepts of this course that you're going to be reading over and over again, maybe from a different sense or a different framework, but it's all on purpose to raise your consciousness, to raise your awareness to your thoughts. So again, remember, it's a mind training program. And we're shifting our thoughts from an ego thought system, which is all based in fear, to the thoughts of God, which are all based in love. So I'm going to proceed now with the lesson. And the lesson 51 is as follows. And remember, as it says, we're going to be going through the first 5 lessons. And there's a short paragraph on each one of the lessons, which I will read. And I'm going to stop and pause and reflect on each one of the lessons briefly. So the first one is in lesson 51 that we're reviewing is nothing I see means anything. Says the reason this is so is that I see nothing, and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. I must let it go by releasing, let me say it again. I must let it go by realizing that it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place. So again, it says nothing I see means anything. And it talks about vision here. And the seeing that it's referring to here is that how we see through our bodily eyes. How we are seeing through our bodily eyes is through the ego. And it says here that we're seeing nothing. And the ego is nothing, because the ego is our personality that we've developed. It's not real. It's only real in our minds. And again, what we are perceiving out there from an ego perspective is our perception. And when we are caught up in that seeing, in that perception, it is blocking the vision that it speaks to here, the vision of Christ. So nothing I see means anything. Now, in the second one, it speaks of here, I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this that I see. It's only my judgments that I see. It's only come from my mind, from the past and what I know. This, again, it said, this is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality, because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. What is real is love. What is real is God. I am willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments because I want to see. My judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them. So when we let go of any of our resistance to vision, to the vision of Christ, we then can surrender. We can surrender these judgments that we have created. which again is the Course is speaking of, is all the illusion and it's unreal. And we can then let go, surrender them to the Holy Spirit. Remember that a miracle is a shift in perception, and we receive that shift in perception through the Holy Spirit. Number 3, I do not understand anything that I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. We try to understand everything through the ego, and the ego is nothing. As it says here, the ego is not real. It's only something in our mind. And that is what we project out into the world. We are not our thoughts. So there is no sense of trying to understand it. We try to understand the ego. It said, but there is every reason to let it go, to surrender the ego and make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Now, that's speaking of our willingness. The Course says it takes a little willingness. It is not this a better choice than the one I have made before? So again, we are letting go of what we of our beliefs that that have not been serving us. We keep trying to figure it out and understand it in our separated mind from God. And while we are in that space of the ego, which is not real, we are blocking the true vision. Again, I do not understand anything that I see. Number 4, these thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I'm aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. We're giving up, we're releasing, we are surrendering the ego thoughts, so that there is now a space open and an availability to to bring in the thoughts that we think with God. And when we surrender the ego to the Holy Spirit and stand in that space of trust and faith, we will be given the answers. The answers are always in front of us, but when we are in our egoic mind, we will not see the answers. And the answers are brought to us in many forms. We may hear it through somebody else's speaking. We may read it in a book. We may get one word that is, coming from God. We might hear it in a song. So again, my thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. I am not aware of them because I have made my thoughts to take their place. We dwell in the ego. We are far too tolerant of the mind wandering in the ego, in the unreality. And it says, I am willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. This is the undoing of the ego. I choose to have them be replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God. We co-create with God. We co-create with the thoughts of God. If I am constantly, well, it's not even constant. When I am judging another or judging myself, that is not a thought of God. God is not judging us. We just believe that we are being judged. Some belief that we took on. God does not even see the right and the wrong. All that God sees is the love that's in you, and the love that's in me, and the love that's in all our brothers and sisters. And while I am in judging another, I cannot see that Christ in them. I cannot see the love in them. It's when I am open and willing to the vision of Christ, then I will see the vision of Christ in them. And number 5 is, I am never upset for the reason that I think. I am never upset for the reason I think, because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts. Yeah, I am right that you're wrong. I have a judgment. You shouldn't be doing that. I am right that I am wrong. I am judging myself. And I'm justifying it. I'm justifying it because at some belief level, I may believe that I'm not worthy or I'm not deserving. And that's the justification, which comes from the ego, which is all based in our guilt in that we believe that we're separated from God. It's in our subconscious, and all this subconscious guilt is being brought to our awareness as we continue to do the course. And we reflect that guilt, we project that guilt onto another. That's how we judge another. We project our guilt on them, see them wrong. But in actuality, what we are seeing is what needs to be healed within ourselves. It says, I am constantly trying to make them true. I'm going to read that again. I'm never upset for the reason I think, because I'm constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I am constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. If I am angry about something that I am seeing outside of me, then I am using those thoughts to justify my attack on another being, on another situation. I have not realized how much I have misused everything I see by assigning this role to it. I have done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me. The ego, is when we are in suffering or in pain, in confusion, in chaos, when we're not clear. And we keep on trying to find our solution through the ego. And then we wonder why the problem continues to exist. It says, I have done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me, and I no longer want it. I am willing to let it go. So with this lesson, we can open up to our willingness to see things differently, to move from that I already know the answer from my past. This is about moving into the possibilities that are available through God. Through God, all things are possible. It is surrendering to, I don't know what I don't know. Or what is it? How do I want to say it? I don't know what I don't know. That's the bottom line. Standing in, I don't know what I don't know, and turning that over to God, and then being open to receive the inspiration, the guidance, and the direction through the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the bridge between our ego and God, between fear and love. All right. That's what I have, what I hear to speak to with regards to these lessons, and proceed as directed in this review. And I look forward to seeing you, or being, I always say seeing, being with you. I wish I could see you, being with you again in the next video, which will be lesson 52. So I think that's all that Spirit has for me to say today. And again, I just want to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, ongoingly view these videos. I continue to grow in the Course in Miracles as I be here on these videos and sharing the lessons of the Course in Miracles with you. And I can't express it enough from the bottom of my heart. And with that, to be able to expand and grow this channel, it's really appreciated that you subscribe, that you make a comment. If there's something you don't understand that I'm speaking, please comment. I'll be willing to answer it. And also to like and share. Share here, share on Facebook, to support getting the information, getting the Course in Miracles, the path of A Course in Miracles out to those who are looking and searching for this path. All right. That's, I'll conclude with that for today. And I look forward to being with you in the next video for lesson 52. Thank you again.